its main goal was to make Jimmy B look like a douchebag.
It worked. It worked.
So on this month's episode of Closing Time with Jimmy B and Annie O, we are going to be talking about the wildest showings that we've ever had. Stay tuned and find out.
Oh my God!
Hey everybody, welcome to Closing Time with Jimmy B and Annie O. I am one of your hosts. My name is James Boardman, aka Jimmy B, and this is...
My name's Annie O'Sullivan, a.k.a. Annie O.
And we're both realtors, trainers and coaches as well. I personally have been in the industry since 2011. I've been an agent. I've been a part of teams. I've ran teams. I've helped Zillow with projects on the side. And I'm currently a full-time agent and the director of training and onboarding for one of the biggest teams in the country, Paramount Home Group.
That was a mouthful.
Hey, I mean,
I get it.
I
It's
got
awesome.
some good creds here.
You're right. Cred is everything with our business. So my name is Annie O. Thank you for tuning in. I am one of your co-hosts here. The guy that's sitting across the table from me, he also happens to be, my amazing husband in real life. So just wanted to put that out there because we spend a lot of time together. So for us to be able to do this, do real estate, I feel very grateful about. Now about me specifically, I've also been licensed realtor in the Tampa Bay area since 2011, so that was just coincidence. I've had my own individual practice before, we teamed up and partnered with James. I also work with Zillow. I am a coach and leader as well. Specifically, I am responsible for the seller lead division in the Tampa Bay area for the Paramount Home Group. And I'm actually expanding that over to the east coast of Florida too, which means I'm just responsible to make sure that the level of customer service that we're providing to our sellers throughout the state of Florida is definitely at, the best of the best. So that's a little bit about me as well.
That was a little bit more of a mouthful than mine, dear.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I forgot to tell them that we were together. I guess that was an important thing, huh?
At some point, they were going to find out when you call me dear and things like that. Because, that's not actually normal in our real estate.
Yeah. We keep it
office,
professional. We
right?
keep it professional.
Yeah. In the office, he's not walking around going, oh, hey, dear, or honey bunny. And I'd be like, no, we don't do that, actually.
Well, regardless, that's a little bit about us. Welcome to our show. Again,
Yes.
It's called Closing Time with Jimmy B and Annie O. Other than some real estate education, if you've ever watched us before, if you haven't, it's all good. We like to keep things fun. So we definitely will showcase our education because we definitely know our shit, but we're definitely going to keep you entertained.
Absolutely.
You want to tell them a little bit more about the format of how we're going to roll these out?
Yes. So besides making it fun and entertaining so you're getting something out of it, we are going to be having some crazy just real life experiences that we're going to be sharing with you that we've dealt with when it comes to our real estate transactions and just you won't believe some of those things that happen. And then also we are going to have what we call coaches corners. We'd love to talk to other realtors and just kind of give them like the real life examples of what it takes to have a long and stable career in this industry. There's definitely a lot of misleading stuff when it comes to that. HGTV doesn't give us any favors when it comes to that part of it. So we much rather listen, see what it's like. So that way, if you go into this, you have the right expectations too. So definitely that part as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, listening in on us, and can't wait to get started.
Stay tuned. Episode 1 is coming up.
And now it's time for a conversation with the most non-real estate expert there is, Beatrice.
All right, so we have a special guest that we were able to get on the show today, and I'm really grateful and thankful for you. So yeah, welcome, Beatrice. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Annie. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, appreciate it. So yeah, basically my first question for you is, when it came to your house hunting, what did you think was like the most important thing that you had to have? Maybe room?
Oh dear, that's so easy. The master bedroom, because that's where all the magic happens. The bigger the bedroom, the better, because that means we could fit, 10, 20 people in there maybe. I've also noticed, too, that the master bathroom is also very important to me because lately I've realized that the showers, they're really, really big. And it's great because I can have a party in there.
So party showers.
Party showers are so fun. Have you ever had one before?
No, actually, I haven't tried that yet.
Oh, it's so much fun. You know, when I do end up getting my house, you can come over and we can hang out and have one together.
That's definitely something for the future we can talk about.
Okay, great. I'll make sure to get you the invite for that one.
Yeah. Other question I had for you is really with the market. What do you think about what's going on in the real estate market today?
Well, I feel that it's really, really hard. And I really do like when things are really, really hard. It feels really, really good.
Interesting.
And then the other great thing too is there's so much inventory for sale now that I can go in and I can check out all these master bedrooms and bathrooms and really pick out which one I think is going to be the most fun.
That's definitely a viewpoint.
I have a lot of options.
Well, okay. Beatrice, thank you so much for being on the show today. And, I definitely loved hearing your, viewpoints on life.
Thank you so much, Annie, for having me on the show. Make sure to look out for that invite. I can't wait to see you in the shower.
Let's move on with the rest of the show.
All right, guys. Now, this episode is called The Wildest Showings We've Ever Had. And being in the industry as long as we've definitely had some wild showings and some really crazy stories.
Yeah.
So we're going to share that today. And
Juicy.
Yeah, they're juicy. I had to think about this one for a little bit because I've shown hundreds, maybe thousands of homes over the years. But there was one that definitely stuck out to me that I can't believe just didn't pop into my mind right away. And here it goes. So I actually got a lead in for a buyer when I was on a team. This was probably back in 2015 or 2016. And I don't want to say the real name, but the name was that of what I thought was a male. Okay. So I couldn't get a hold of this person originally at first. And then eventually when I got them on the phone, it was a female's voice for sure.
I was going to say, did you confirm when they answered? You're like, oh, no, it's like your husband, so-and-so.
That's exactly what happened. So I was like, hi, I'm looking for so-and-so. And they were like, this is them. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. So that's where it started. So that was kind of funny and awkward. Proceeds to tell me that they're a pastor of a church. And I'm like, okay, cool. Whatever. You know, what they're looking for. They wanted to buy a house in the Brandon area. Told me their budget. Little bit of a crazy story on how they were going to pay for it, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt. That should have been my first red flag. This was earlier in my career, so I definitely learned a lesson on this one. So what happened was we set up a couple of showings, and there was one house that she really, really, really wanted to see, really badly. So I get to the house, and it's a larger home in Brandon. It was about 5,000 square foot, and the price
That's
of the
huge.
home at the time was about $650,000, which back in 2016 is like $1 million plus, home today.
Oh, easy.
So it was a really beautiful home.
Yeah.
I get there, I turn on all the lights. House is absolutely gorgeous. I'm waiting, and then eventually she shows up.
How long are we talking, waiting-wise?
It's about 20 minutes late.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, usually I get salty around the 15-minute mark.
For sure.
But it's all good. I was excited, young realtor, all right, I got a really good showing. I've had a lot of interaction with this person.
All right.
So she shows up, not by herself, but with an entourage of about 15 people. Friends, family, and I'm like, oh boy. At first, I was, I'm still newer at full time in real estate, really doing a lot. And I'm like, okay, this is a lot. Hope the owner doesn't get upset. This is a really nice house. They have Michael Jordan signatures everywhere. There was a lot of expensive memorabilia in this house that I loved. And I'm like, man, I would buy this house. This crazy outdoor area. All that's good. So they tour the house for about an hour and a half. That already in itself is crazy.
So now you're talking 2 hours pretty much at this house.
Yeah. Yeah.
The sellers must have loved you.
Yeah, I had the listing agent texting me because they had a camera somewhere and was like, you guys good? What's going on? So, I'm letting them do their thing. There's so many of them. I have no control. I completely lost control of what's going on. And then where the story gets wild is I told you before she was a pastor.
Right.
So there was important detail there. So what ended up happening was she kept saying, this is the house, this is the house. The Lord's telling me this is the house. I'm a religious person too, so I didn't think she was crazy or anything. And what ended up happening was we get to the front door, about to leave. The showing is over. I'm excited. I think we're going to write an offer. This is going to be the biggest sale of my career to date. And then she's like, all right, James. No one called me Jimmy B back then. She's like, all right, James, would you participate in a prayer circle with us? We want to pray just to make sure that this is the right house. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm down. Like, let's go. So I get it in this prayer circle, and I'm holding hands with these random strangers. There's like 16 of us because there's 15 of them and one of me. I am definitely the oddball in this group. I'll leave it at that. All right, looks-wise. And instead of just starting a normal prayer, the pastor starts speaking in tongues.
What?
Yeah, like tongues like you would read in the Bible, like languages that you cannot understand. Just starts like tongues. Like looking up at the sky, like eyes closed, and I'm just sitting there with my eyes bug-eyed like, what the hell is happening right now?
I mean, at least you didn't bust out laughing.
I was scared. Right. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know, is there like she's summoning some demon? Like,
right. I was like, you didn't double check when she said pastor. Like, what kind?
So I just shut up. I closed my eyes and I was like praying to
For real.
Like to God myself. Like, please don't let these people kill me. Like, I don't know what's going on right now. And like literally and then all of a sudden another person in the group just starts speaking in tongues, and I'm like, oh my God, what is, like literally, like what is going on right now? 3 of them total. And then after about 10 minutes of tongue prayer, I'll call it that, they stop. And then like everybody's normal, happy, and then everyone leaves and goes on their merry way. Best part of the story, they never bought a house from me.
Oh.
That by far is my wildest showing ever. I don't know, like it was crazy.
Did you follow up with her? Like, how was that experience? Like, hey, by the way, you kind of went through all this. Like,
I tried to sell her a house, but like I said earlier, I learned my lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I should have done better due diligence on how she was going to pay for it. Truthfully, at the end of the day, I don't ever think she had money or she was ever able to. I think they just did it for fun, or she was just a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, I'm impressed you even talked to her after that, because that's a weird experience. I haven't gone through that. I'm kind of glad I've never been through that. I don't know how I would have responded to something like that, because
I can do weird. That was super weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I got nothing on that in terms of like how to.
Well, what do you got? You got to have a wild one.
Well, yes, I do have a crazy wild story and everything like that. But like that, just your experience overall, I don't know like what I would have done from there. Like if I would have ran away and said, please don't call me again, lose my phone number kind of thing. Like I'll refer you to somebody else versus going through that experience again. So mine I don't feel like is as dramatic from that regard. But I had some clients that were really, and this is actually a more recent one. So like in the last year, definitely first-time home buyers really just trying to do it. They've been like permanent renters, for like 10-ish years. And they were like, hey, we're really ready to do this. But, money's tight and all this stuff. Obviously, the market we're in right now isn't the greatest. It's not terrible like it was a few years ago, but still, like within the location they need to be in and everything, I think there was a total of only like 4 houses that were available.
So they're like an entry level.
Right, just making sure it works, it's affordable. They're not like all of a sudden house poor in the future, things like that we're making those steps for. And so we find these 4 houses, and, it's actually at the 3rd showing, the 3rd property we're looking at. So far, we're bust. Like the first 2 were just really rough shape, they're borderline not habitable kind of thing. And we're like, we'll figure it out. Don't worry. Let's have faith, and that's kind of thing. Oh, weird coincidence. He used to be a pastor.
Really?
Yeah, he was. So I'm just, interesting. I never put that 2 together before. And so we get to the house. We were lucky. This one actually had the electricity on and everything. So that was a nice plus. We're turning on the lights. And I hear this really, really crazy sound coming from like where the garage is. And, I don't normally follow my people around. I'm like, hey, take a look at the house and everything. Let me go like figure out what's going on, as I do this. So they go and wander. And all of a sudden I open the door to the garage because I hear this sound. And I see from the ceiling just pouring water, and on the floor is literally a huge chunk of what used to be the ceiling, and half of the HVAC unit is hanging from the ceiling.
The air handler
Yeah.
was
just
hanging from the ceiling.
literally, like, because it was one of those they put in the attic
During
and
your
everything.
showing.
Yeah, and it was just literally hanging there. And now half of it's down,
Lord.
and there's still water flowing from the sucker. I mean, I'm kind of impressed that the house was actually air conditioned with this. I instantly turn off the power and stuff. I'm calling the agent. He didn't respond right away. Obviously, I take a video and everything. I'm like, hey, you need to fix this ASAP and everything. And while I'm doing all this stuff, my clients come around the corner because they're like, oh, let's see how the garage space is. I'm like, you know what? Let's not right now. We'll get this fixed. Don't worry about it. And then they walk in and they were just that's not normal, right? I'm like, no, it's not. And then, of course, they think because the house is in as-is condition and stuff that's how they have to buy it. And so I'm sitting there going, no, don't worry. It's actually supposed to be in the ceiling, and, we'll get it fixed and all this other stuff. The good news on mine with all of this happening, and they actually did have, the electrician come out and the HVAC company, because it was only installed a month earlier. So clearly whoever installed it just didn't do the greatest job.
So the question is, did the buyers actually like the house? They wanted to buy it?
Yes. And we actually did help them buy the house.
Even with the AC hanging from the ceiling?
Yeah.
Now that's impressive.
Right? So it was crazy because of just the actual showing experience and what happened. And they're they didn't know any better on what can get done, what can't get done. And I'm like, no, we'll figure this out. We'll fix it. But as far as the house itself, the house was perfect. And now they live in it. So it's really cool. But yeah, obviously we got it all fixed and stuff. But yeah, that one I'd say is definitely top in terms of just the weirdest, I've never seen an HVAC unit, like you said, just the handler free floating. It's one thing to just see drywall fall or something like that, but to actually have it mid ceiling where anybody walks under it, who knows what would happen to them, kind of thing. Yeah, that would definitely be one for me that I'd say is that's a memorable one. Never forgetting that.
Yeah. I had a second place one that wasn't as memorable as my first, but, I ask realtors this since I, onboard a lot of new agents.
Yeah.
And then ones that do have experience too. I'm like, because I'll ask them, hey, have you ever been on a showing where you knock on the door and the owner's home and anything awkward happened? And they're like, why? Where are you getting at with this? And I'm like, well,
I feel like everybody does.
I've walked in on people having sex before. It was not a pleasant experience. And I got chased out of a house with a shotgun.
But see, I feel like there's at some level as a realtor, it always happens where you walk in. I walked in, someone was in the shower. And we had a schedule, we didn't do anything.
Too.
Right.
Recently.
You just walk in. Another one where they were still sleeping. They kind of forgot that they overslept and they didn't realize the showing was still happening. And so those are always really great. And, you're seeing them all confused and what are you doing in my house? And you're like, you told me I could come. What that kind of conversation looks like. So yeah, I've definitely had a few of those. I'd say the other ones that really freak me out are the critters. When you have to deal with wildlife in the houses, snakes. I can't deal with the snakes and the spiders and that part. Not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you on that.
Luckily,
one.
I haven't had too many crazy ones with gators. That I haven't had to deal with yet. But you still get.
I would still say an AC hanging from the ceiling is pretty wild.
Well, yeah, that of things that you never expect to see and everything. No, that I could definitely say that wasn't one. I would have actually been I've done this so much. A snake in a house. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. We'll figure it out. But no, I couldn't do that.
So we have a prayer circle with tongues.
Yep.
And then we have an AC hanging from a ceiling.
Exactly.
So those are our wildest showing stories for our audience watching and listening here. I would love for you guys to go in the comments and put which one you think is a wilder story, a prayer circle with tongues or walking into an AC hanging from a ceiling and water pouring everywhere.
Yep.
Two very, very fun ones. Or for you realtors that may be watching this,
yes.
I would love for you to put in the comments maybe a short story of your wildest showing experience. And we can go back and forth and make this a little fun. All right, guys, this part of our show is called Coach's Corner. This is geared more toward you realtors out there who may be watching this. We're going to go over some tips and things, coaching tips of being a realtor. This particular episode, we're going to talk about how to keep your cool when things go wrong. Now, I am going to let Annie O give you the tips on this one because Mr. Jimmy B doesn't always keep his cool very well when things go wrong. And I mean that more in a positive way. We'll put a positive spin on that. I'm really passionate about what I do, and I really care about my clients. So when they don't have a smooth experience and when things aren't going the way that I want them to go, I get a little passionate. For those of you that know me, they could probably see that. So I'm going to let Miss Annie O handle the tips on how to actually stay cool because she is the cooler of us.
Thank you. I love how you use the word passionate. Some probably wouldn't describe it like that when it comes from you, but I think that is a good word.
Hey, we got to make me look good here.
Of course, you always look good. Are you kidding? Okay, so when it comes to keeping her cool, because regardless if this is your first transaction or your, 5,000th one, like things will always come up that are unexpected, unplanned. And I always tell our agents that when they're going through all this stuff, at the end of the day, we do have to make sure that we are the neutral party, that we are the ones that are keeping cool, that we stay objective. So what I mean by that is like you may have another agent that you're dealing with who's just completely off base, giving you the runaround, doing unethical things even. And at the end of the day, you have to make sure, one, that like you're being objective and that you're not letting your emotions get the best of you. So, your buyers, your sellers, like they're the ones that are going to be emotional because they're the ones that are having this major life-changing event. I always remember in the back of my head, which is why I'm able to keep cool, is like I want it to be as stress-free as possible for them, which means I need to stay level-headed. I need to be the one that's going, hey, let me take myself out of the equation, and is this really what's best for my client? So when you ask yourself that question, is this in the best interest for my client? Regardless of how I feel about something, like if that's my client's dream house and the agent on the other side is a complete asshole, well, it doesn't matter what I think of that agent. What matters is that that's my client's dream home. And I have to fight for my clients. So like I have to have that perspective. I have to pull myself out. I have to get my emotions out of the way, which is super frustrating, exactly what Jimmy said, but like that's the end result is that my clients want that place. Or vice versa. Selling, same thing. Is this the best thing for my clients? So that one little tip of just making sure, regardless of what's happening, how angry I am or whatever is going sideways, like, is this helping my clients? And if the answer is no, that's my reality check that I got to get myself right.
Yeah, when you talk about, the stress-free part of it, I was going to, tell everyone who's watching, she's not lying because her main email address since I've known her is literally stress-free house.
Yep. I've been using that forever. Like that's always been my motto when it comes to real estate is just making it easier for everyone else. And if I feel like I'm not doing my job if I'm not living to that creed right there in that basic core principle. So, yeah.
What do you do typically when a client gets really emotional, for you to keep cool? I recently had an experience with this very recently where a client lost their cool with me, and thankfully I didn't lose mine, but I got a little snippy back. I'm going to be honest because, the client really attacked me for being honest. I wasn't able to sell his house in the time frame that he wanted. It does happen.
Yeah.
So, how do you handle those situations without trying to get too emotional and keep your cool when it's a client on the other end, at you?
Right. The biggest thing I've always done is letting them and having that reminder that they're allowed to have those outbursts because they're the ones that are in the process of moving. They're usually when it comes to moving and buying a house, selling a house, whatever the case may be, it's because of something, in their life. It could be a financial issue, either a strain, job loss, or, maybe their family's growing and, they need the more space. They have something else that's causing pressure on them. So that's where my empathy helps because I'm I know it's not necessarily directed at me. It's just because things aren't going the way they need it to. They're venting and, I'm the one helping them for that. So it's terrible to be that person, and dealing with the brunt. So I always try to just let them go. And then I almost always, 99% of the time, I let them go and I say, hey, we'll talk later. Let's cool off. Let's, I'm going to take this in. Let me see if I can come up with something else. And I try not to react immediately. So like either by text, by phone call, however they're communicating with me, I'm like, hey, let's regroup in like an hour. Let's regroup tomorrow. And then they have time to also cool off, where then you're like, okay, I know you're frustrated. I know this isn't what you want, but like we need to come up with future steps to change the future.
I 100% agree with that. I would say, from my perspective, through the years, what I've actually learned from myself, and, I do train this to the agents as well, is if you have a realtor coming at you, another realtor coming at you, and they're very emotional, or if you have a client coming at you and they're really emotional, don't respond right away.
Yep,
right?
big time.
99 million out of 100 million times, like the house is not on fire, it's not an emergency. They're usually just having some type of emotional outburst because they just learned something that seemingly upset them. So what I found really the best strategy is read it, acknowledge it, but don't necessarily answer right away.
Yep.
Let them cool off. Because a lot of times realtors, at the end of the day, we're a full commission based, career, right? And if something goes sideways on a deal, a realtor may be relying on that money to pay their mortgage that month. And they can get really emotional if something goes sideways. So that's where a lot of the realtor emotion comes from. And then the client, just like Annie said, they're moving because they have a big life event generally that's going on. So then if something goes sideways, they're emotional as well. So taking that step back, letting them take a deep breath, let them calm down, and then you come in and approach it very professionally with facts, not emotion back. I think that is the key.
Absolutely.
And it took me a while to learn that over the years myself.
Yep. The sooner you can get better at not responding from an emotional perspective, but, letting them cool off, say, hey, understanding that you shouldn't be taking it personal, and then being objective and being, okay, like, how can we fix? How can we move forward?
Right. What's the solution?
Exactly. Instead of just stewing on what's going wrong. That will also help your sanity.
So that was this month's Coach's Corner for all your realtors out there. I hope you got some good tips out of that. Stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to give you some more.
Now it's time for Video of the Month. Who the heck picked this jingle? They don't pay me enough for this
All right, so this next segment I'm actually pretty excited about because this will be our video of the month. And this is usually where we take a video that either we've already made or something that we found really, really interesting that we wanted to share with you and really give you our feedback and thoughts about it now from this perspective, that whole hindsight 2020 perspective. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. This particular month, we are going to be showing you a video that we made almost a year ago. So yeah, this will be fun.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been that long.
You two are such a powerful real estate team, but you're also quite the cute couple. How did y'all meet?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so Jimmy actually called me about a listing one time. He was really sweet and kind. We kind of hit it off, and then he asked me out to dinner. So we ended up going to...
Yeah, this house looks good. We can take a look at it. Let me just find the realtor's info here to make an appointment. Whoa. Now that's a fine piece of that. Oh, what is that? Does the house have storm shutters? Oh, that's a great question. Let me ask, let's see, Annie Sullivan. I will call her right away and get back to you. All right. What was that? Does the community pool have nude hours?
Yeah, actually, you were asking me some really interesting questions about like a community nude pool. Wasn't it about a house?
Oh, yeah. I called her and I had a question about a house and, she just seemed so professional. I was actually quite impressed. So.
Hey, do you happen to know an agent named James Boardman? I just got the most awkward voicemail.
It sounds familiar. Oh, hold on. You mean Jimmy B?
Wow, what a douchebag.
Yeah.
Nice suit there, Mr. Jimmy B.
What can I say? It was love at first sight.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's many eligible bachelors out there, but only one Jimmy B. Ain't that right, honey?
Be one and only. This one, by far, I think was like my favorite video skit we did last year, simply because of the wig that you had to wear. That was phenomenal from that regard. And then the idea that I called you a douchebag on camera.
Yeah. What's funny is when we were filming this, I was not near you during that segment. I think I was either putting on my suit or trying to figure out that crazy mullet weird
The
wig
mullet.
thing. And then I had the crazy sunglasses. I don't even know whose those were, those wands or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. But yeah, and then when I actually saw the finished video afterward and I saw you had called me a douchebag, I just laughed and I was like, yeah, it's fitting, I guess. Because that's probably what you thought, like when we really did meet in real life.
I mean, kind of close, yeah. I thought you were definitely a kid because you had like your braces on and stuff like that, and I was just like
Invisalign.
Yeah,
They were
okay,
not
okay.
braces.
So yeah, it was definitely like an awkward first meeting kind of thing.
But
in terms of that.
the funny thing is really about that video when we made it is, even though we made it funny and we went a little over the top with it, it was mostly true. Like that is really how we met. I had met Annie at the office, and then we didn't talk a whole lot. But then one day, I was showing one of your listings over in Wesley Chapel. It was a townhouse.
Remember that.
I actually remember it, and I was in the back of Meadow Point. And I had a question. And, at that time, I thought you were really attractive. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is my chance to talk to this girl again. And then you were just so standoffish on the phone, just like a good listing agent would be. You gave me absolutely nothing. And I'm like, whatever. And then we transitioned that into this video where it's like I'm calling you and then about the clients calling me and then asking about the nude hours, which is hilarious just because we live in Land O'Lakes, right? And the nudist capital of the world, pretty much.
Yep.
I'm sure eventually the villages will take us over, but we'll see how that goes.
I mean, they're definitely getting their own publicity for other stuff.
Yeah,
so,
and then I remember sitting on the couch and we had to do quite a few takes of that because I just kept laughing the whole time.
We both kept laughing, just like thinking about it and then how we reenacted it and everything.
And then Michael was our like little therapist, like host person or whatever it was.
Right. Like, the interviewer. He's like, oh, it's so cute. You met and everything. And we're like, oh, yeah. And then, it was nice because first off, it just gave us that opportunity to kind of like remember and be like, oh, yeah, this isn't too far from what we did. Except thankfully, you didn't have the mullet. Because if you did have the mullet, we probably never would have talked.
Yeah. I think the funniest part of the whole shoot is the fact that everybody that was helping us with that shoot, direct us, the extras that were in it, like, its main goal was to make Jimmy B look like a douchebag.
It worked.
It did. I think it worked out absolutely perfect.
All right. So you guys got to see that video now. I'd love to get your thoughts. Did Jimmy B actually look like a douchebag in that video? Because I say yes. That's my vote. You're like, I'm sorry. Hey, it's not real life, okay? It was just an enactment. It was just an act. It was a character. That's what we call it. But yeah, that kind of wraps up for our very first episode. Thank you so much for watching, listening in, however it is. And we look forward to seeing you next month for Closing Time with Jimmy B and Annie O.